It's back! Hello, welcome back. As you can see, the MR2's back, so let's go take a look, see what the welder did. Fantastic, so you can see he's welded in a new plate there. Not the neatest job in the world, but very much function over form here. That'll do the job because all of this is going to be covered with the front plastics anyway. So the other tower, he's put a little plate in there as well. That was nowhere near as bad as the other side, but while he was here, may as well get it done. So underneath, we had a nice big hole under there, which is now patched up for me. And if we go over the other side, equally, get the camera around the right way. Equally, there was a hole under that shiny new bolt there, which he's done. So that's all of the front bar. At the back, that little hole that was in the steering mount, he's just patched that over, covered it in rust protector, so should be good there. But yeah, nice and all strong under here. I've just got to kind of go over everything now with a wire brush and a bit of rust eater before I go putting everything back, but yeah, doesn't look too bad. Okay, so what I've done is I've actually put some tape underneath a lot of the bars here just to fill up some of those holes, because I'm now filling the bars with Dinitrile ML, which is kind of like a wax oily type substance that you can put inside of steel box section just to protect it from rusting on the inside out. And I've just been basically inserting this nozzle into every single hole I can find and just filling up with this stuff. But it is quite wet, it is quite watery, so just to make sure it doesn't fall out of any lower down holes too quickly, I've just taped up a lot of these holes just so that it can kind of sit in there. It can kind of, you know, just fill up a little bit and evenly make its way into every nook and cranny. So I'm just going to empty the hell out of this can, and I'm going to consider that bar and the bar that the steering rack is on to be protected from the inside out at that point. And then I've got another tin of this, so I can do the same in other places as we get further down back in the car. Okay, so everything under the front of the car has now been rust converted, welded, painted, undersealed, blah 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 blah, etc etc. I'm just waiting for all of the underseal to dry, then I can put the undertray back on. So while I'm waiting on that, what I thought I'd do is have a crack at replacing this centre brace here. So you've got this little centre brace, and you've got a where is it? This one at the back, you've got a little 2-bolt brace and this slightly bigger brace, and the Cusco brace that I bought goes all the way along between the two. So I need to undo both these and put the new one on. So this is the new brace, just for purposes of telling you how long it is. I mean, it comes to just above my knee. It's quite a fair old piece of kit, that. And then here in the instructions, so you can see the 2 braces that I need to remove, and this is what it replaces. So let's get on it. Okay, brackets are out. That wasn't too bad. One of the bolts need a little bit of working in and out with a bit of WD-40 because it wasn't going to let go, and I was worried about breaking it, as most of the bolts on this MR2 have done. They've broken off, but I managed to get them all out safe and sound. So now I believe it's just a case of putting this in its place as per the instructions. Okay, that wasn't too bad. Shiny shiny. So yeah, just 6 bolts. There's a little plastic clip that holds one of the coolant pipes that just goes into one of those holes in the middle. But that's like really easy to locate and pop back in. So yeah, job done, success. Okay, I'm on a bit of a roll here now. So even though they're not really ready to go on yet, I'm just going to go all Cusco. I'm going to put all 3 braces on and get those ticked off the list. Okay, so we're going to start with the rear one first. So let's get some tools. Just place this here to make sure that I got the right one. Okay, so if I remember correctly, these 12s, no, they're 14s. Right, I'll be back. Aha, now we're cooking. Right, let me fast forward to having all these undone. Okay, bolts are undone, braces off. Okay, so we are on. Okay, and then the brace should apparently fit back on next to it. Let me think about this. Okay, so the only way I can see this being possible is actually to disassemble the bar and the feet. So let me see if that then works. So if I thread that, it's going to be a two-hand job here. Aha, okay, that did it. So just got to do up all of that and put the bar back in there. Okay, it's on. Wasn't as easy as what I thought, because like these bolts are like, sorry, these nuts are really close to the bar, so you have to kind of lift it a little bit to get these in, but hopefully I think that's okay. I think we just got to tighten these up now, so I've got to get a spanner to put on there and then Allen key that, and then everything's good. Okay, done. Everything's tightened up nice and sturdy. It did fit, which is great, and now I can peel off the protective doodah. Oh yeah, god, that's satisfying. Okay, so I guess move on to the front now. Okay, 24 hours later, all the under seal has dried, which is nice. So everything has been rust removed, welded, painted, blah blah blah, under sealed. So all we've got to do now is drill out a few broken bolts. There's one here, and there's also a couple up in the wheel arches, and then I'll be able to put the under tray back on. Now with the broken, rusted bolt drilled out, we can take a tap and die. We can make a new thread, which will allow us to bolt back on the under tray. Perfect. Okay, so another day over and it's looking pretty good. As you can see, I've got the under tray on now, and everything is dried. All the wax oil and paint and everything's all dried. I've got the alarm here, I've just left the cable dangling, but I'm going to mount that on the side of the frunk plastic so that it's not actually in the frunk, and that just maximises the space for luggage and stuff. It's quite a popular mod that people do. And then at the front, you can see everything's nice and clean and back on. I'm not very happy with this lip. As you can see, there's a gap there. I think that rubber is just, sorry, the plastic has just perished too badly over the years. So last night I finished all the painting and the under sealing around here. As you can see, I could probably do with a little bit more. I think it kind of shrunk in the cold last night, but you can see pretty much looking pretty good. Pretty good. What I need to really do, oh yeah, it has kind of cracked and shrunk because it's so bloody cold. I need to get it over like Ed's pit and just go over with lots of layers of under seal just to get all the bits I missed and do the whole thing nicely. But the job for this morning is to take the Dintronol and spray into all these holes as I did at the front, and then I can consider the front of the sills done pretty much. Okay, I checked the steering rack knuckle because I thought it was one tooth out, but it wasn't. It looks like the tracking's just been knocked out somehow. It's probably me just moving the steering rack around. Maybe one of the tie rod ends is just moved slightly, but it's going to need realigning because I'm going to redo the lower suspension arms as well anyway, so that's all going to knock the geometry out of place. But what I've done here, I've refitted the frunk plastic, and rather than mount the alarm in the standard position there, I've done the common thing that a lot of people have done on the internet, and I've mounted it on the side there. So I've just drilled out the spot welds that were in the bracket, And then I've just put a couple of holes through, a couple of bolts with the washers. That's a much better place for it, and now you've got maximum front space. Now I'm going to try to do the Cusco front brace. Okay, so same as before, just undone the 3 bolts on the top of the suspension turrets, and then it should just pop on. So let's see. Oh, very hard to do one-handed with the camera, but yeah, that seems to be on. So does that. Just goes over the brake reservoir. Okay, looks pretty good. Okay, so first problem I need to point out is that with the strut bar in place, you can't open the front totally, but there is still enough room that you can insert the spare wheel or insert a bag if you were going away for a weekend. The second thing is that the top of the suspension turrets have these little spaces in, which is to spread the load so you don't get pinch points in the 3 corners. And with those on, you can't do the nuts all the way up so that the thread disappears. They only go like halfway on. So this circular brace here essentially does the same job as that, and it's stronger, it's better, so you don't really need those. I did leave them on the back though, because I couldn't find a way for everything to sit flush without those on the back, so I've only removed them from the front. Not sure if that's the right thing to do, but it seems the most logical when I've looked at it. So let's take the tape off. Yes, nice. So I got to extend this bit of string that's got the hook which goes onto the bonnet, and then that way it can hold the front open for me while I'm got both hands in them putting something in or taking something out, and then I can put the front plastics back on. Okay, so the front plastics, as you can see, they no longer fit because of the bar, so I'm going to have to trim along here and make some space so that the bar can poke through. And that's it, everything's back. Got a bit of extra space there to access the power steering and the brake fluid, but I tried to keep it as original as possible. Obviously it's modified, you know, there's no way of doing this and keeping it looking 100% stock, but yeah, it looks pretty good. I'm quite happy with that. Power steering fluid, of course, you still have to remove the plastic to get to that, but it's not too bad. You only really have to check that like once a year or something, and it's only a couple of pop clips, so I'm happy with that. So that's pretty much it. I think that's probably a good place to end this video. So this is Rust Part 2, and for those who are sick of hearing about my MR2 rust, you'll be glad to know that there's only going to be one last third part of the rust when I attempt the rear sills and the rust in the engine bay and the chassis rails. So we're about 70% of the way there. We're starting to fit all the cool stuff like the Cusco braces and everything. But after this, I'm gonna get on with the suspension and get the alignment done and get the new exhaust on. And then hopefully we'll be bang in time to do Brands Hatch in the middle of February. So yeah, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed the video, and we'll see you next time. Bye for now.